This is the Machigani area, the top of the hill of which are just a few minutes from the Denso River in your shot. Now I've come here because this is actually where the problem of the sand moving to the Kaswa toll booth starts from. This is it. Now if you look in your shot, you can see the serious erosion that has happened here. Deep gullies of sand over here. I can't go so close because the edge of the sand has become so shaky, making it dangerous for me to move further. But this is where the sand washes when it rains and moves all the way to the Kaswa toll booth, and you have the sand over there blocking the access route. On today's edition of the Citi Newsroom, we are looking at all the issues that is leading to the flooding and traffic around this stretch, starting from the Gan South area, from Malam to Gan South, all the way to the Kaswa area. What is causing the flooding, and what can authorities do, and what are they doing to solve the problem? My name is Vivian Kai, local. Now let me walk a bit and take you to the toll booth to see what is being done there to deal with the problem. Serious gridlock over here, and we have some workers for the municipality trying to clear the sand from here. The water is still sitting here, and there's serious traffic. So you can see the backhoe, which is the sort of the excavator, and some tipper trucks here trying to clear the place. But I'm currently here with the urban roads engineer for Gan South as well as Kaswa. He will tell us some of the things they are doing to deal with this matter. From what you've been briefed, what exactly is the problem happening?
This is an issue where, you know, the hill behind us that we see, you know, it used to be a hill that is covered by vegetation. And, you know, materials were taken here to construct Tetekwachi Road. And after the material was taken, I believe that it's supposed to have reinstated the surface of the hill so that this washdown couldn't have happened. But over the years, it has been done, and we are having the results of whatever was done several years back. And I think that this has been an issue where, you know, anytime it rains, this problem happens. We come here to come and clear the sand and get the motorists and get the vehicles go. But we think we need to have a lasting solution to this issue.
But waiting for the rains to happen, the sun to come down, and then coming after to clear the road, it's not the solution. The problem is uphill. What is the plans to deal with that?
Thank you. You know, the road on which we are standing is managed by Ghana Highway Authority, which is on record, and everyone of us know. And as of last week, I'm very sure that the regional minister called for a meeting where the regional director of Ghana Highway Authority came to come and present the situation and the solution that they wanted to bring on board to bring the problem under control. In fact, from the presentation, they wanted to cut the hill to shapes and apply black soil, as they used to call it, and plant grass over there so that when the rain comes, it will not wash the silt as we see. But it will come down as a water, and we have a culvert across the road that goes into the Densu. So basically, that's the solution that they wanted to. But
what is hindering the solution?
I think the regional minister said, he has said on authority that he's going to take up this matter, and he's going to make sure that bring this solution to this problem to an end.
Now, most of the motorists here or the commuters are not happy with the situation. They say that for years this issue has been persistent, but government hasn't been able, or is not even showing the will to solve the problem, and they're just fed up. How many years?
More than 2-3 years. And I do it. Traffic to me blocking here. Far says, Utimasi. Intino, Yamuya, when you know, Mumbai, Panama, and one internet encounters with road work with a truck.
I didn't know, idea way.
Then, of course, idea way. kwan na mo ye ne papa ne ye ma mo sika na o madi enu kakra na kwan na tutu
se hu se Ghana kwan wagasa ba hu
Enye.
na mu twam wa je ma hu nti mo wagasa mo kan bi fa ho.
So I've come to my second spot, one of the spots that leads to the floods, the movement of the sand we see on the Kaswa, Malam Kaswa stretch, leading to floods and gridlock. This is actually a river, Kokojo, a river we're told is called. It's around the old barrier area. When it rains, this part rises up with water, flood water, overtaking the whole stretch. Now, I'll take you to a spot where the authorities are putting together a storm drain to capture the water and the silt and filth that comes from the top of the sides of the roads when it rains to avoid the flooding and the sand from coming there. That's the SCC joint, which is another place where on Monday we saw the serious gridlock as well as the flooding. But according to people who understand the engineering process, this size of storm drain must be connected all the way to that side to open up the water passage when it rains, so that it makes it easy for the water to move along the stretch.
This has been a problem for so many years now. Okay, so it's a drain that stretches about 1.56, almost 1.6 kilometers from the outfall at the old barrier, where it discharges into the Kokojo stream. So some years you do fly. Anytime it rains, the whole road floods with silt and then sand.
Where is the silt and sand coming from?
Okay, so it comes from the hills behind. There's a factory called Sunda behind the West Hills Mall. Yeah, it brings a lot of silt and sand because people living there, they have disturbed the vegetation of the land.
Technically, are they supposed to be living there?
This question is difficult for me to answer. I'm sure
because if it's disturbing the natural, the natural piece of nature, it shouldn't be there, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
So we are at this spot. To show my viewers, behind me is this storm drain. I can see some materials, obviously not from natural vegetation, but you can see construction stuff, so the silt and all that. This is coming from the top, I believe. And then, of course, you have the water. What impact does this have around this area? Then we'll look at your solution.
Okay, so what happens is once it brings the sand, it goes onto the road. So it makes the vehicles, people driving along, very difficult to, drive through. So we came in to put in some interventions to reduce the level of siltation and flood onto the road. That is why we decided to have a size. Before, the underground drain there's an existing underground drain parallel to the road, which is about 1.2 diameter, 2 number. It is inadequate to convey flow from the hills, looking at the calculations we've done. So we've proposed a size of 6 by 3, which is currently not going there.
6 wide, 3 up.
Yes, please. And then within that, because of the level of siltation, sand that comes from the top, we've designed also a catch pit, people call it sand trap, within the channel, which will be deeper than the inverts of the drain that we'll be constructing. So to allow it to accommodate or intercept the silt within. So before the rains, we come in to desilt it.
So how long would you take to finish the storm drain?
Okay, so what they're saying is the phase 2. We've done phase 1, further downstream, we'll go there. This is the phase 2. It's about 17 months project.
And when did you start this?
Oh, this was started about 4 months ago. Yeah.
But why didn't you start it earlier, knowing that the rains will come, soon?
I knew very well that this question will come. Ideally, this project should have started during the dry season.
Yeah.
And before contract is awarded, it has to go through this procurement and stuff. It goes through a lot of processes. That is what delays our project.
So what's your temporary measure then? Knowing that the rains are going to come, what happened yesterday is likely to happen again. What temporary, this is your long-term solution, but what in the quick term can we do to minimize what we saw yesterday? Because that looks like it's here to stay till some of the measures are put, which are quite many. So short term, what do you have? Okay,
so what we decided now is along the stretch, the existing pipe 1.2 under, it does not have chambers for maintenance. So the plan is at every 50 meters we're going to break so that we have easy access of removing the silt under the pipe so that if it rains, water can be flowing. Now, what happened yesterday was they did only 2, and then from Atala going, it's not done. So water was gushing out from the chambers, existing chambers there onto the road. Okay. So once they go in there to remove all those silt, I'm sure it will minimize.
So as a first step, the hydro officials are here. From here, we are going to meet and draw up a plan to make sure that all the interventions that are being done by the respective infrastructure agencies are well coordinated to avoid what happened here last night.
Have you received full funding? And this funding you're talking about, is it covering the whole stretch? And then your long-term intervention to the problem. For people who live here, they're likely to experience what they did yesterday because we haven't solved the problem. And from the intervention you're talking about, this is a long-term one. Short-term, how do we avoid what we saw yesterday happening tomorrow?
The questions you're asking of me is a question that should be asked of me, the Minister for Western Housing.
Collaboration now.
Yeah, but we are talking about funding and all that. What I know is that because we didn't have the full funding, the project was being done in phases. As and when that resources are available, then we come and continue. So, but on the substantive question, all these issues, I don't want to be the one answering the question for the Ministry of Western Housing. It's not the best. We at the Ministry of Roads, we are the receiving end. Because of their activities, it affected our roads, and that's why we came in. But what I can say is that we are going to collaborate with my sister ministry, which is the Ministry of Western Housing, to address the challenge.
So it's still the Citi newsroom. I've come to the third spot, the third problem area on the Malam-Kaswa stretch, where when it floods, the water and the sun from the top overtakes this place. This is the Atala junction, and over here you see that some excavators are already here on site trying to clear the sand that came on the road yesterday night following the rains. Now we are told this happens every year. So if you look around me, let me give you an idea of what happens here. On my left side, you see the erosion over there and some plants, a bit of some gullies over there. So the water and sand comes all the way from the top over there. Even though a huge gutter, some storm drain was built about 2 years ago, it's unable to solve the problem because the water and the sand that comes is quite a lot. Now, still in your shots on your right side, you can see some 2 buildings. These 2 buildings have been abandoned because of the level of water that comes in around this place every now and then. If you look here, there were heaps of sand that had moved all the way from the top to this place. So the sand yesterday covered this whole part, this whole stretch, right from where the tipper track is all the way to my back, a few meters away, and making it difficult for road users to get access to this road. On the other side of the stretch, you can see the sand as well, moving all the way to that side as well, all from the top of this part of the road. That's the Atala spot. This place covers 5 large districts and municipalities, and we have over 1 million residents in total in this area alone. We have the Wejagbawe people using the stretch. We have the Gansal people using the stretch. Ewutu Senya East using the stretch. Ewutu Senya West using the stretch. Gomwa is using the stretch. So if you look at Wejagbawe alone, over 213,000 residents over there. If you look at Gan South, over 350,000 people in that area alone. Ewutu Senya, we have over 230,000 people, residents over there. Ewutu Senya West, 161,000 plus residents over there as well. Let me give you an idea of Gomoa East, another large population as well, over 308,000 people covering that areas. Now, there have been calls for authorities to develop the access routes for this place. We know that about 2 or 3 access routes can be used to avoid this route, to ease the traffic when it rains. Let's take you through some of the access routes. I've hopped into a ride. I want to look at the alternative routes that residents can use when it floods or when there's a place is hit with a gridlock every now and then. I'm in this car with my colleague. He's a Central Regional Correspondent. He's pretty familiar with this area, as well as the other alternative routes we are told that exist around the Malam to Kaswa stretch. How many alternative routes do we have along the stretch that residents can use to avoid what we saw on Monday?
All right, right from Kaswa, we have 2 alternatives that residents could use. Now, in Kaswa, in case there's a huge gridlock, you don't need to come towards the toll booth. You can just pass through Nyanyano stretch, straight down to Adade. From Adade, you connect to Tuba Township, from Tuba Township to Aplaku, and then to Botiano, through to this very same stretch as we're seeing, and then to the old barrier stretch where you can connect straight to Malam Junction.
The other routes you've mentioned to us, what's the nature of those routes?
Well, Vivian, the nature of the road is quite bad. You know, it has huge gullies and potholes on them, making it difficult. So sometimes when there's huge gridlock, people tend to use these alternatives. At the point in time, there's even huge traffic on these alternative routes because the road is so bad that, it makes it difficult for vehicles to move. So it would be advisable if these alternative routes could be fixed, so at least to ease the traffic situation on the main Kaswa to Malam Junction stretch.
But this route, for example, you see that parts have been tarred. If you look in front of us, if our cameras, you're looking in our camera, you can see some bad patch over there. This takes you to which area proper?
Well, this takes you through to Aplaku, heading towards Tuba, and then it can connect to Kaswa again. And then the same route, vice versa, I can also bring you through to the old barrier section of the highway.
So this is giving you an idea of the alternative routes available for commuters and residents here to avoid the main road when, they experience the gridlocks as well as the floods. But the nature of the road explains why most of them try to avoid these routes. You're still watching the Citi Newsroom. We are wrapping up on our story on the Malam all the way to the Kaswa stretch as we look at the flooding issues and traffic when it floods. Now, this is the Malam area. I'm around the Gold Filling Station where it floods anytime the rain sets in. And on Monday, it was no exception. There are a lot of factors that lead to the flooding we see here. And I'm bringing in my Central Regional Correspondent again, Calvis. Calvis, you were here early to see how things were panning out following what we saw on Monday, which is the flooding and the gridlock. And you spoke to some passengers.
Yes, I spoke to some passengers. When we came here earlier in the morning, we realized that some vehicles had even been moved from their home onto the stretch by the rains. And these individuals who have these vehicles were complaining that they have raised several concerns to the fact that the Kaswa Tobu stretch must be fixed. And yes, it has fallen on deaf ears. So they are actually worried that this situation keeps on coming.
If we are putting our hands down and then watch this thing to continue happening, I think one day, what will happen, it may be a mess than what's happened at the Circle 2015 day. So all that I will tell our leaders or whoever that's in charge to do this particular route for Ghanaians to have their peace of mind is to consider this. They shouldn't involve even politics. We shouldn't involve who is in power, who has been in power, and who is supposed to do it. Whoever in charge to do this route for us to have our peace of mind, to go our daily itineraries, they should do that.